Hey, you guys are here. I'm so glad that you were able to join me today. We're getting ready to start our new book called Name Bannanas by David Walliams. Now, it's important that you pay close attention to the story. Why is that? Well, at the end of the chapter, or each chapter, you're going to be answering some very specific questions about the story. Now you're going to be restating the question. So you're going to be using complete sentences and using part of the question in your answer. We practice those in class, so you should be good at that. Let's go ahead and get started with Chapter 1, Name Bannanas by David Walliams. London, December 1940, Second World War, classified. Britain has been in a bitter war with Nazi Germany for over a year. It is now in the height of the Blitz, and Nazi bombs rain down on the city. The people of London live in fear, as do the animals of the city, particularly those in London Zoo. The characters in this adventure are Eric. This short, shy 11-year-old boy has sticky out ears and wears glasses with one of the lenses cracked. Sadly, like many children in the time, Eric has lost both his parents in the war. Now an orphan, he is withdrawn and sad most of the time. The only thing that makes this boy happy is visiting London Zoo. There he has formed a very special friendship with a huge furry friend. More of her in a moment. Uncle Sid. Sid is Eric's great uncle and the oldest keeper at London Zoo. He has worked there for longer than anyone can remember, including him. Like many men at the outbreak of the First World War, he enlisted to become a soldier. However, on his very first day on the battlefields of France, he stepped on an enemy mine and lost both his legs. Nowadays, Sid gets about on 10 legs, but nothing can dampen his fighting spirit. The zookeeper would give anything to be able to battle the Nazis and prove himself to be a hero once and for all. Grandma, Eric's grandmother, is a fearsome character. She dresses from head to toe in black. Black shoes, black coat, black pillow box hat. The deaf old lady never goes anywhere without her ear trumpet, which helps her to hear. This doubles as a weapon to bash folks out of her way. When Eric became an orphan, she took the boy in to live with her. As much as he loves his grandmother, Eric finds it hard to be around her, as she is very strict. Bessie. Bessie is a larger-than-life lady bursting with love and laughter. She works as a doctor in a military hospital in London, where day and night she tends to the wounded soldiers. Bessie and Sid are next-door neighbors, living side by side in a row of tiny terraced houses. A bomb blast tore a bit of a hole in the fence that divides their back gardens, so Bessie can pop around to see Sid at any time of the day or night. Nina, the air raid warden. Nina is one of London's hundreds of air raid wardens who spring into action when the Nazi bombers appear. Wardens make sure that Londoners are off the streets and taking shelter whenever the air raid warning sounds. It is the perfect job for this busybody who loves nothing more than bossing folks around. Sir Frederick Frown. Considering Frown is the direct general of London Zoo, it may come as a surprise to you that he doesn't like animals. Creatures of all shapes and sizes give him the willies. Frown is forever in fear of being slobbered over, nibbled or, worst of all, peed on. So he spends most of his time hiding in his office, as far away from those dreadful beasts as possible. He is so achingly posh, he speaks as if he was a plum in his mouth. Corporal Batter. This old soldier from the First World War is now the night watchman at London Zoo. Batter sports a big, bushy mustache and is never without his tin helmet, his chest full of medals, and, most importantly, his rifle. Batter has strict orders to shoot any dangerous animals that escape from the zoo during the nighttime bombing raids. Miss Gnarl. This tall, broad vet at London Zoo is called whenever an animal needs to be put down. Armed with a needle full of poison, the sinister Gnarl adores her work. The bigger the animal, the better. She is a disturbing character who speaks only in growls. Helen and Bertha. These mysterious elderly twin sisters run a deserted guest house at the British seaside town of Bangor Regis. The guest house, Seaview Towers, has not had a guest for years. So, what are the strange pair doing there? Perhaps their glamorous appearance hides something darker below the surface. Captain Speer. Speer is an elegant but ruthless commander of the Nazi U-boat or submarine, the Fuhrer, Adolf Hitler himself. The evil Nazi leader who seized power in Germany has personally sent Speer on a top-secret mission. This mission has taken the U-boat to the south coast of Britain, where it is lurking, ready to strike. If Speer succeeds, the course of the war will take a dramatic turn, making the Nazi victory certain. Winston Churchill. The British Prime Minister is a big, balding man, always dressed immaculately in three-piece suits, bow ties, and Homburg hats. Winston Churchill is famous for his stirring speeches, his dogged determination and his fondness of brandy and cigars. He is seen by many as the only leader who can lead Britain to victory over the Nazis. And last, but not least, Gertrude the gorilla. One of the oldest animals at London Zoo, Gertrude is also the most popular. She is the zoo's star attraction. Children delight in the old ape's escapades, as she loves to show off for the crowds, especially for a banana or two. Gertrude loves to blow raspberries at the visitors. The gorilla has formed a special friendship with one child in particular, a short, shy boy in cracked glasses, who goes by the name of Eric. Here is a good old map of London. Here is the map of London Zoo. Part 1. Time to Dare. Chapter 1. Wibble Wobble. Life, love, laughter. The world has been plunged into war of unimaginable horror, so these three things are more important than ever. They are important to this story, too. Our adventure begins with a cold, crisp afternoon in London in December 1940, in London Zoo to be precise. There, a little boy had just made a discovery that made him laugh for the first time in a long time. The little boy was an 11-year-old orphan named Eric. He was short for his age and had sticky-out ears, which made him feel like he stuck out. The boy wore glasses, but one of the lenses was cracked, and he didn't have any money to repair them. As soon as the bell rang for the end of school, Eric would run out of the gates as fast as his little legs would take him. He hated school, where he was picked on mercilessly for his sticky-out ears and given the name Wingnut. Eric had been given strict orders by his grandmother to hurry straight home, but he couldn't resist taking a detour. From school, he dashed through the streets, dodging the mountains of rubble. There were adventures to be had in the wreckage of downed Nazi planes, burnt-out double-decker buses, and bombed buildings. But the boy didn't dilly-dally. Oh no, he was in a rush to get to his favorite place on Earth, London Zoo. Apart from the animals, the best thing about the zoo was that Eric could get in for free. That was because his uncle worked there as a zookeeper. Uncle Sid was really his mom's uncle, but Eric always called the old man Uncle Sid, too. Sometimes Eric would even help Sid with his work. This he loved more than anything. His dream was to be a zookeeper himself one day. To Eric, animals seemed so much nicer than humans. None of them made fun of his sticky-out ears for a start. Some of them had sticky-out ears too. No matter, they were all beautiful in their own way. Eric loved feeding the animals, washing them, and he didn't even mind mucking out their cages. Some elephant droppings weighed a ton, and shoveling them was a two-man job. A spotter's guide to animal droppings. Ant, piranha, scorpion, penguin, armadillo, zebra, tiger, gorilla, camel, rhinoceros, and elephant. Sid would smuggle Eric in through the back entrance to the zoo. That way he would not have to pay the entrance fee for 6 pence. A small fortune for a small boy. Eric didn't have a penny to his name, let alone 6. So at 4 o'clock on the dot each day, Eric would arrive at the staff gate. In what resembled a military operation, he would remain out of sight and knock 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. Then he would wait in silence until he heard a twit-too. This was his great uncle imitating the call of an owl. That sound meant the coast was clear. The next thing the boy would hear was the old man approaching. Sid had 10 legs. His real ones had been blown off in the First World War. Whenever he walked, there was a sound of clinking, clanking, and clunking. Clink, clank, clunk. Password? The man would hiss, hiding on the other side of the door. Wibble wobble, the boy would reply. Ha ha, chuckled Sid as he opened the gate. In you come. The password was different every day. The boy would invent a new one each time to make his great-uncle laugh. Some of their favorites were monkey nuts, king pong, ants in your pants, nicky nacky noo, hippopotamustache, wee willy winky, jelly bottom, underfutter, finky foofar, Sir Humphrey handbag. Thanks, Uncle Sid. How was school today? Asked the old man. There was a strong family resemblance. Sid was short and had sticky-out ears, too. However, he also had big, bushy eyebrows and even bushier beard, so that was where the family resemblance ended. Because of his 10 legs, the old man was unsteady on his feet, which were also made of tin. Sid looked like he was going to topple over at any moment. I hate it, huffed the boy. I don't know why I bother asking you. The kids pick on me about my ears. Your ears look perfectly normal to me, said the old man, as he was waggling his own sticky-out ears with his hands to make the boy laugh. Don't let the bullies get you down. It's what's in here that counts, said Sid, clutching his heart. You are a smashing boy. Don't ever forget that. I will try not to. Don't you have any friends at school? Well, not really, replied the boy sorrowfully. Well, I know all the animals here are your friends. They love you as much as you love them. The boy hugged the old man, nestling his head on Sid's big, round tummy. Whoa! Exclaimed Sid, flapping his arms around as if he were a penguin trying to take off. Sorry, I always forget about those 10 legs. Don't worry. You'll be able to sell me off for scrap metal when I'm gone, he joked. The boy smiled. You're funny. There may be a war on, but you have to keep smiling and laughing, or what else are we fighting for? I'd never thought of it like that, pondered the boy. But you are right, Uncle Sid. Do you need a hand with anything today? Oh, you're a good boy, but I've done all the mucking out. You go and enjoy yourself. Thanks, I always do. I know the animals will be pleased to see you after last night. The boy immediately knew what that meant. Last night had been the worst bombing raid in the Nazi Air Force, or Luftwaffe, in London since the war had begun. As soon as the air raid warning went off, I woke Granny up. She doesn't hear too good. Yes, I know. She's deaf as a post. And even though I was still in my pajamas and Granny was in her nightdress, we ran to Blackfriars Tube. We slept the night down there in the station with hundreds of others, right there on the platform. How was it? Asked the old man. Noisy, I bet. And smelly. Not the best night's sleep I've ever had. No, but at least you and Granny were safe. Where did you hide out? Me? The air raid warden ordered me to run for shelter, but I came straight here to the zoo. I had to be here to take care of the animals, try to keep them calm. The boy winced at the thought of them all suffering. How were they? I did my best, but the bombs just kept coming. Boom, boom, boom. I'm afraid to say your friend took it hardest. She can't bear the noise of the bombs. Frightened her out of her wits, she was. The boy gulped with fear. I'd better go and see her right away. You do that. I know you always cheer her up like no one else can. The old man ruffled the boy's hair. Eric ran off in search of his friend. To Eric, London Zoo was a wonderland. He had never been outside London in his life, but here in just a few acres of the city were the most magical creatures from all over the world. Elephants, tigers, penguins, giraffes, zebras, bears, lions, warthogs, crocodiles. But there was one animal in particular that Eric loved more than any other, the gorilla. Her name was Gertrude. Gertrude the gorilla. And that will do it today for Chapter 1. Looks like Kona decided to join us today. So, remember, if you don't know the answer to a question, don't just put I don't know, and don't leave it blank. Go back and re-listen to the story. You can do that. Make sure you use complete sentences. We'll show you how to copy and paste even the question over, so all you have to do is change a couple of words. But make sure you do all of them. Make sure you click submit. Have a great rest of your day, and maybe you'll find another book that has a little bit of a mystery that you can read on your own. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.